Oh, hey. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? This is your art host, Suliman Onque, and it's another episode of Art Life with Slim Suli Art, which is me as well. And tonight we have a special guest that we want to interview and actually, shoot the breeze with. None other than the artist Jay Golden. Now, he'll be coming through in a little while, and once that happens, we'll actually connect with him and find out some important things about this extraordinary artist. But while we're waiting, I was actually messing around with a little bit of airbrushing here, as you can see in the background, just to pass the time. And usually what I do when I'm at doing these live events, I have something called Word to Art. My word to art techniques, methods. And one of the last things I actually colored was a piece that you may see right here. Give me 1 second. Okay. These are one of the last pieces that I colored and I actually posted up recently. And this was, the word was given by Poncho. And it was epic. The word was epic, and I actually changed it around to look like what you see there now. And this was another piece that I did that was inspired by Bisa Butler. And the word she gave me was resist. So I hope everybody's feeling okay tonight. I know people are still going through a lot of things out there, and my motive and my attempt is to actually have you break free from all those chains mentally. There's a lot going on. I just want y'all to feel free and let art inspire you. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you for saying that my art is beautiful. This is something that I like to do, and I hope that it takes off. What's going on, Pacho? So it's early. I'm waiting to my brother to come through. And when he does, I'll I'll let him chime in. But if you have a word right now, not you, Pacho, because you gave me one last time. Can you tell me that word and I'll actually change it into art right now? Hey, what's going on, Lisa? Yeah. Okay. If you have a word for me, Lisa, give me a word that you want me to change into something artistic tonight. Um, like I said, I like to actually create. And if you give me that word, I'll write it down. I'll show you the start and finish process of it. So just don't feel shy. if you want to. If you don't, it's okay. It's okay. This is something I actually colored last night. The word was passion. So you want me, oh, somebody said optimistic. All right. Lisa, I saw what you put. But are you saying that you want me to use the word Jesus, the name Jesus, and transform that to something else? And I also see optimistic. So I have to be clear with this. Have a little bit of time before our guest comes. But Lisa, are you saying write Jesus? If not, I'll write the word. Oh, yes. Okay. So if I write the word down, Jesus down. All right. So as you can see, it looks backwards to you. But I'm going to mess around with it, and change it around to something that's actually more catching to the eye, something that can inspire you, hopefully. We need inspiration out there. A lot of people are going through a lot of things, so we need that help. We need that love. What's going on, Dave? Another dope artist just stepped into the room. Wave at you, brother. Appreciate you coming through. It's early. Waiting for my guest to come through, which, he should be coming soon. And I'm actually going to change the word to art method with the word Jesus. So I'm just going to show you. It's going to be steps. I'm going to show you how I change things in steps. All right. Okay. So you can see it's my method. All right. So as you can see, I start changing it around already. We're going to keep on moving with it. All right. Let me see what else I got here for you. So I'm just changing it around, adding different things. I'm gonna keep on moving. Keep on moving. Let me see. Okay. So I hope everybody's feeling pretty good tonight. I know you're looking for that escape. And I'm hoping to provide that escape for the wonderful people here. Because we need that love and that inspiration. What's going on, Mandy? Anybody who's coming into the room, please call on more folks to come here so we can actually have a nice time tonight. A nice time in art. So it's changing around. More things are changing. Trying to give you a little bit more. Let me see. Okay, I got this. I got something else for you. Got something else for you. Got something else for you. Yeah. Got something else. A little bit more. What's going on, Pop TIM? Keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to add this at the end. Just doing some background stuff for y'all, throwing it in there so this can be called done a little bit. All right, let's see what we got here. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? So there you go, Lisa. This is what I did. You had given me the word Jesus, and I changed that around to what you see now. And that's called Slim Suliart's word to art. So I'm taking a word and changing it into art. That's my method. You know, let me know if anybody try to coin that phrase and still tell me, because I'm not having it. You know, what's going on, Chunky Red? Hope that everybody's doing okay. And like I said, it is early, and I am waiting for the one and only Jay Golden to come through the room so we can actually collaborate and see what he's about. Just from the outside looking in, just giving you a little insight on him. He's been doing a lot of art throughout Newark and other areas of the city, and traveling and bringing his art style, which is like indigenous art. He does a lot of cultural stuff. What's going on, Khadija? I see you popped up. Yeah, what up? What's going on? Hey. And we want to showcase any artist, whether it's poets, whether it's singers, whether it's entrepreneurs, grassroots individuals with their businesses that want to spread awareness at this time, especially because we need that boost of energy. We need that awareness. We need people to come in here with health tips and let us know how we can be more healthy. What do we need? Zinc? Do we need vitamin C, D? What do we need? We need you to reach out to those so they can give us the information. And through my platform, I'll let you springboard off of that to help others. And I don't mind, because we have to do that. We have to be there for one another. And for those who might have just stepped in, the word, well, for those like Khadija, you know what this say right here? Take one guess of a word that says right there. I give you one try. What word did it start off with? And it should be easy. 2 seconds. And you don't got it. Well, the word was Jesus. Hey, this is who I was looking for. I'm waving to this guy coming through the door. Waiting for Jay Golden. I want you to send a request to me so I can chime you in so they can see your face, see some of the art in the background, and we can actually, you know, Give you the love. Let me see. Waiting. It's buffering right now. So it's connecting right now. Hey, what's
Hey, what's up?
going
What's up?
on?
What's up? What's up?
Look at that, y'all. You see all that stuff behind this young man right
Yeah,
here, all the
yeah.
wealth, the art behind. Man, listen. You see all
I
that
thought
stuff? That's
I thought
crazy.
you were gonna text me. I was
Well,
waiting for you to text me. I was like, hey, it's like 7:30 right now. Hold on.
oh no, I started on time, man. I did.
Yeah,
But I ain't want, it's okay. We wait for people to get in the room anyway. We don't want it to be as soon as you get here, that's it. No.
yeah,
We want them to tell people, please, people in the room, tag people because this artist right here is not just any artist. It's the one and only Jay Golden. He has a history of art and wealth. And you can see some of that stuff behind him that's
yeah.
priceless work. Look at that.
Oh, what?
Oh,
What's that? That's
see that?
that's
The
the collaboration, right?
collaboration.
Yep, yep.
Oh man, I gotta do another one. So for people that didn't know, me and this young man, he invited me into his studio. That was big. Everybody is not really willing to let you into their studio and work with them. Some artists just want to be separate
Yeah,
and say, you know what, it's all about me. I don't want you to try to take my shine or whatever. And it wasn't like that. I got there, he opened up his studio, we got there, and he was like, look, man, go ahead, do your thing.
yep,
And we
yep.
played off of each other, and it was
Exactly.
dope. It was dope.
That's how you really get like some of the most original work too. When you just kind of let go, not worry too much, and just let the energy work. Just let the energy speak for itself.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. So
What's
listen.
what's that? What's that boundary? Is that?
Oh man, you know what? This is I was messing around with the airbrush, man. Like, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. You were telling me
So
that.
nah, it might be
What
a little
surface is
loud.
that? Is that parachute cloth?
No, this is just canvas. This is canvas. Just
Hmm.
I'm just messing around a little bit.
It's just like the raw. Oh, it's just the raw canvas.
Raw canvas, yeah, yeah. I'm just, it's
Yeah,
just backdrop for the night.
looking good. It looks good.
But I might go back into it, later or whatever like that. But this was can you guess what this word was before it
Mm.
changed?
I like the lines too. I like the line work.
Appreciate it. So somebody gave me a word before you came in here, and I changed it to what you see now.
Oh, it's not love, right? It's not.
Nah, I
I
give you
only
one
said
more. I
love
give you
because I
one more
see the heart.
chance. I give you one more chance.
One more chance. Okay. Is it backwards from my view?
It probably is. It probably is backwards, but yeah, because the words look backwards there. But you should get it. You should
Like,
get it.
why can't I see this?
I'm gonna tell you anyway. All
I
right, it
really want.
started off.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
Oh,
on.
okay,
I really
okay,
want to get
okay.
there. Okay, hold on. Um,
All right, look at the picture and don't worry about the word. What does it look like? It might say.
um, mm, that could be anything though.
Yeah.
I see a sunshine. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna
Well,
give up.
the lady Lisa that was in here, she gave me the word Jesus.
Okay. Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
want.
so
I didn't
that's
think it
why
was
I
gonna
was
be
like,
that
look at
obvious.
it,
I see the.
you
I
know.
see the guy. I see him right there, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't think
So
it was
now
gonna be
you're like,
that
oh
obvious that
man,
okay, it was Jesus.
yeah,
Is he the J? Is he supposed to be the J?
yeah. The J started off with him.
Okay, so it is backwards from my view.
Yeah, it is. And I don't like that part about this live, man, is that it's backwards. So yeah, the J did start from.
Because I see that it's like it has some religious context, but I didn't think that was actually going to be the word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So tonight I'm gonna give you the chance to pick a word as well, and whatever word that is, I'm gonna actually, try to
Yeah.
hook up something for. But I'm just happy that this thing is going on right now. I appreciate you. What I want to do is because for the people that's out there,
Hmm.
they don't know everything about you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So if you don't mind, Can you give a little insight about Jay Golden, the artist, before you get into who you are? Because I want to touch on some of that too. But talk to us about Jay Golden, the artist. Give us a little art history about you. You don't have to
Art
be real
history
long, but
about
just, you know, a little bit, you know, let them
um
know some of the stuff and what you are, what the skills you possess.
okay. Well, I've been drawing for like what I want to say over 20 years now. I started when I was 6. And it's funny because like every time I tell the story, it's like it brings me right back to the moment. I was still in Jamaica at the time. I came here when I was 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw my uncle. He was just drawing a bunch of cars, like just sketching, like, but really, like, I'm talking about really detailed cars, like just straight from his imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember watching him draw these cars, and I just was so fascinated by it. So then I just decided to pick up a pencil and paper and start drawing myself. But what's interesting is that I didn't even try to start drawing cars. I started drawing faces.
Mm-hmm.
Like immediately I started like, I was fascinated by portraiture as soon as I picked up a pencil. But it would be me trying to draw faces from just memory. And then, you know, on and off throughout my life, I just kept doing that. In high school, I wasn't too serious with the art, I would say. I always drew, but I didn't know that I wanted to be an artist. Went to Essex County for a while. Then I went to
Oh,
King,
sorry,
and
man. Hold
that's
on one
where.
second.
Oh, you switched the camera. You switched the
By
camera.
mistake. I was trying to do something different. Ain't long looking into my spot.
Yeah, but yeah, it
Anyway,
wasn't until
they didn't see nothing. I'm sorry. They didn't see much.
it really wasn't until it really wasn't until I went to King University that I started actually taking it seriously. And like, I'm really grateful to have the mentors that I had. One of them passed away a couple of years ago, Joe Joknowitz. He's a Polish artist, but that's when I actually started painting. Before that, all I did was draw, just pencil. That's when I started painting. That's like what, 2012, I want to say.
Okay.
I started with watercolor, so like that was the beginning of me painting, like just messing around with watercolor. After that first semester of watercolor class, I spent the entire break just practicing. And that definitely, having good mentors like him. Another mentor I had is Peter Karras. He actually studied with Norman Rockwell. So like, even having that
That's
wealth of,
dope.
like
That's dope.
having that wealth of, and he was very strict, like really strict. So just having that wealth of knowledge was definitely crucial to like my discipline as an artist. Like I would sit in the studio for like 12 hours, like starving myself, and I would do that on purpose just to make sure that I was committed to the craft. So like I would discipline myself that way, and just kind of use food as I want to say like my reward. Like if I didn't put in 6 hours, if I didn't put in 6 hours today on this painting, like I'm not gonna eat.
So basically, you're like, dang, man, if I don't do a good job, I'm not eating. I'm gonna starve myself. So now, like, it's motivation. You motivated yourself to push yourself, have more discipline with your art. Yeah, and a lot of people might not go that route, but you like, listen,
like, sometimes I slept in the studio too. Like I had so much good memories of just like that studio at King, like the entire studio there, like the faculty, everything.
Yeah. So mentors are definitely
key. Definitely, like they're definitely important.
Key.
It's definitely good mentors.
I lost a mentor just in December 4th. Rudy Martin. He was definitely a powerful mentor for me. He's the one that actually gave me the airbrush machine. He actually told me I was going to inherit a lot of his art supplies. And when he said it, it was like probably like less than a month before he passed, though. But when he said, I'm like, oh, okay, you know. But then he did. They left me a lot of his work, and I'm trying. I'm making sure I use the stuff that he gave. Very powerful watercolor, acrylic. He was working up past 80s, his 80s, like I think it was 84. But his sight, he was losing his sight. He found other devices to, like magnifying glasses. He was declared legally blind. but he still was doing watercolors up until a week before he passed away.
Wow. How big is he working with the watercolors?
Um, it might have been 18 by 24s or higher. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Could have been other sizes. Might have been
Yeah.
like 9 by 12, different sizes. But it was just
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
actually saw one of his pieces. I went in the shed to look for something else, and
Yeah.
I saw that. And the funny thing is, he actually asked me my opinion about his art at one point. Like, what do you
Yeah.
think about this piece right here? I'm like, dang, he asked me, so I felt honored
Yeah.
for that. You know, he
Yeah.
was doing watercolor, and I was like, well, just as long as you do the same thing you do on the right, on the left, then you're good. And I'm like, dang, but for me to ask that, for him to ask me that was like
Yeah.
monumental to me.
Yeah. I know that. I know it meant a lot to you. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
man.
and that airbrush piece is coming out good from what I can see. So
Oh, I appreciate,
listen,
man. Listen,
I've never used airbrush like that.
let me
I
move
know
out
a
the way
lot of
just a little
artists.
bit.
I know a lot of artists who are into airbrush and all that.
Yeah,
Is
this
it?
is actually my I want to say, is this the fifth time I used the airbrush?
Yeah. Is
Like I
it
messed around. Go ahead.
does it fit like okay, if you had to compare it to another paint medium, what
I
would you
would
compare
think
it
it
to?
was more like spray paint.
Okay.
Yeah, it has that feel.
Okay, that
You
makes sense.
you
That makes
you're
sense. That
pressing
makes
out the air pressure. You could turn the air pressure up on the
Oh, okay, so
yeah.
it's not too
It was a
far off.
motor. It's like
So
it's like spray paint or paint gun type
yeah.
whatever motorized gun. Yeah, it's that feel, but you have this little nozzle here where you can kind of
Okay, yeah, it's
control
just like a
it.
paint. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's a paint spray. Yeah,
yeah. So it's cool, man. I'm gonna master it as long as I keep on messing around with it. That's
yeah.
my idea. But let me ask you something.
hmm
What inspires Jay Golden?
What in terms
What
of
inspires
creating?
you artistically? What's something that you anytime you see this thing,
It
or let me go this route.
yeah.
Okay, how do you get motivated before you do an art piece?
Oh, it varies because it's not just one thing, but one way that I do get motivated is just like looking at other artists' work,
Hmm.
and I would say going to the museum is definitely big, and I don't do it as much as I should, but I was
Hmm.
starting to get into it. I was starting to actually like push myself to go to the museum consistently before this whole quarantine thing happened. So
Yeah. I
that
remember.
was like
You sent
yeah,
me something. Yeah, man, go there, and I'm
yeah,
like,
and like, but
I
that
just gotta.
I feel for me like that's one thing that always immediately like gets me motivated to paint. Like I'll be ready to leave the museum after just like walking around once and just seeing the work. Like
Hmm.
I'll be that excited and that motivated because then I'll just like even sometimes just reading like the little like how some pieces at the museum they'll have like little they might have like a bio about the artist, like a brief bio
Yeah.
about the artist, maybe about that painting or even just maybe about that artist's life.
Hmm.
Um when you're looking at the work. Even stuff like that sometimes kind of motivates me because I might see something in there that makes me think about what I'm doing or makes me think about my life in some way, like the Frida Kahlo. I'm not sure if you saw that one, the Frida Kahlo exhibition.
No, I haven't.
The Brooklyn Museum did one last year. That was beautiful.
Crazy,
Like that, yeah, that was
phenomenal,
beautiful. Yeah,
powerful.
yeah, and just even like I think that was right before I did the show here at the house.
Mm.
I went to see that, and at that time when I went to see that show, when I went to see the exhibition, I was in the midst of like planning towards doing the show here at the house. So
Yeah.
after just walking through and like reading the little descriptions about her stuff and like just seeing how she turned her house basically to like even like a museum, basically art gallery
Mm.
museum, and she would do shows there frequently and have guests. It's like that motivated me to follow through and like actually do the show at the house that year.
Yeah.
But
That's.
it was beautiful because it wasn't even the exhibition wasn't even just her artwork. It was they had her costumes and all that.
Mm.
And one thing about her is that like every time she went to like a some type of gathering or she had gatherings at her house, she would
Hmm.
dress herself up like really lavish with jewels and everything.
Wow.
So like they had her entire wardrobe in there. They had some of her father's photographs because he was a photographer. They had her letters that she would write back and forth with Diego Rivera. Like it was beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Even the lighting, it wasn't typical museum lighting where it's just like really bright in there.
Yeah.
You walked in through those doors and it was like a nice ambient setting. Like it kind of
Yeah.
created like a vignette around
Mm.
around the around each painting. It was like real low lighting, but like really sharp light on the painting. Everything else was kind of dark. And then as you got closer to the end, I guess that you kind of got more into like a brighter light setting.
Mm. So from looking at behind you, you know, you do a
Yeah.
lot of portrait art, which is quality work. And me looking at some of your work, even from behind you, or stuff that you posted, or when I was at the studio and seeing it, and just throughout my time of seeing you, like one um, thing that opened my eyes when I actually saw your work was when I went to the Omo exhibit.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
went there, and you know, and you would think that you were older than you are, and you're like, oh, you're not, you're a younger guy, but you, the stuff that you have is like ahead of your time. And I like that you
I
have
appreciate
that
it. Appreciate
certain,
that, man.
no, it's definitely great and it has quality, you know.
Yeah.
That's, it has to be a story and it tells a story. You stick to that story and it progressed. And I like the style. Let me know about, give the audience some insight about the exhibit Omo. Explain what
Um.
it is and what some of the pieces were like.
So, I could even do like a little quick tour
You
as well.
can. Listen, it's all about, you
So
know,
this,
it's our
this
thing.
was,
You have the work there. You can walk
yeah.
around, show them. It's okay.
So Omo was based on these indigenous tribes from Ethiopia, the Omo Valley. So Omo is actually the river that runs through this region, and it actually runs downstream into what's known as Lake Turkana, where the Turkana tribes live in Kenya. So this is actually like one of the first pieces I did.
Mm.
And that year I went to Ethiopia. So the Omo Valley is southwest Ethiopia. I was more in the northern region of
Mm-hmm.
Ethiopia, I want to say. But basically the issue with the tribes of the Omo Valley was that a lot of them were being basically pushed off their land due to like development. A lot of corporations, foreign corporations, they came, they paid off the government, and they were building sugarcane plantations and different industries. And
Mm.
also, a huge dam was being built on the river to use the water source to supply the plantations. So, you know, before I went to Ethiopia, I was reading up on these tribes and I read a bunch of articles, did a bunch of research, did drawings, paintings. And prior to that trip, I was actually approached by Rebecca, who runs the project.
Jampo.
Yeah, Rebecca Jampo, who runs Project for Empty Space. And they were looking for their summer resident artists at Solo's Project House that used to be on Broad Street.
Mm.
And they reached out to me. We had a meeting. They said they were considering me to be the next artist. So I said, okay, cool, I'm down. And I was already working on this, so it kind of just turned into like a huge thing.
Mm.
And I think the residency was from, what was it, July? I think it was from July to
I can't hear you for a second. Hold on. Wait. Oh.
um but yeah, the residency was like, it was from July to October. And but the opening was September of that year. That was 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I did about 20 paintings, but I only showed 13 of the paintings.
Okay.
And I did most of those paintings in like a month. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because that was the first time I actually seriously sat down and did a series with mostly oil paintings. Like I pushed myself to really paint in oil that year. And that was the first time I actually put together a cohesive body of work. So like I'm still to this day I'm like super grateful to Rebecca, Randy, like because Randy was the one who definitely highlighted me
Mm-hmm.
as the artist to for the next for their residency program. So like that was a big thing for me, and
Mm-hmm.
the support was just beautiful. Like I didn't like I kept telling Rebecca like prior to the opening, like I wasn't expecting the support that I was getting just from like social media promotion. Like people were
Mm.
reposting. I kept seeing people reposting, and just how people just flooded the show of the open. Like that was beautiful. And like to this day, like if I don't do anything else, like I still have that memory. I still have that on record. Like that to me was just special.
That was when I walked through there, you definitely brought people into that world, into your world. You know, I see that you had some people that you knew and did portraits of them. And I saw, like, let's speak on the fact that you had some of your friends actually model for you
Oh
in
yeah,
those,
okay.
you know, in the tribe like garb.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I did the huge panels with those. Yeah, so that was cool. Zenaida actually styled. She's the creator of Vibes After Dark. If anybody knows her, anybody who's in this live right now. But it was Zenaida, my friend Kayla, and my friend Bell. He took all the photos.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, actually, my friend Tade too. He goes by O1. He's a rapper, filmmaker. He's very talented, but
Okay.
he actually filmed the whole process of that photo shoot.
Yeah.
But that played a big role in the promotion because a lot of those photos that we captured that day with everyone dressed up, even me, I had the face paint
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
like I had like no. Where do I have that painting? I'm gonna do
Because
another tour
you
real
had the
quick.
green, you had the green. I know you had some
Yeah,
models of green on the side.
I'm gonna do another
Let me
quick
take you
tour.
inside the location. Look at this dope art.
Yeah.
Yeah. Explain this piece. I like this piece a lot. I do. Explain the character behind it.
Okay, so this painting basically was me drawing a connection between my indigenous roots from Jamaica, the Maroon tribes of Jamaica, and this specific Ethiopian tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this tribe, the Karo tribe, Karo, or even Kara, they go by either one. They're known as like the most skilled artistic tribe out of all those indigenous tribes of that region. So since I'm an artist, I decided to paint myself as one of those tribes.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman right here is Nanny. She was known as Queen Nanny of the
Mm-hmm.
Maroons. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the Maroons of Jamaica, the Maroons are basically a collective of indigenous peoples that were in Jamaica prior to the British invasion. The Spanish actually colonized Jamaica before the British. So the Tainos, Arawak, other tribes, they're indigenous people to Jamaica. So after the British came and pushed the Spanish out, the Spanish fled, but they left some of their guns with the indigenous peoples that were there.
Mm-hmm.
Now the British came to Jamaica with slaves from places like Ghana, the Shanti tribes of Ghana, people from Senegal, like just from different places. And a lot of them escaped. Queen Nanny was one of the slaves that escaped from the plantation and ran up to the Blue Mountains. And they set up their villages in the mountains. They would camouflage themselves. They actually basically created guerrilla warfare. That's how it was started. It was started by the Maroons. Um, they had to learn how to cook. They had to cook without using fire so that they wouldn't alert the British troops of their whereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
And she's actually one of the national heroes of Jamaica. So growing up in Jamaica, I would learn about her when I was in school. And I didn't even find out that I was a Maroon descendant until I went to Ethiopia in 2017. My uncle was telling me. So that played even more of a role in me wanting to do this series. So this painting, basically, long story short, is just that connection between my ancestry, dating back to the Maroon tribes, and the connection between the indigenous tribes of Ethiopia, and
So
just kind of
now,
drawing that parallel.
yeah, it's a powerful piece, man.
Mm.
I was looking at her solely, because it felt like, well, my take on it was kind of like Mother Nature, the way it was like plant. That's kind
Yeah,
of how I see it before you
that's
explained that.
that's still a part of it. That's
Yeah.
still a part of it because like, you know, we know one thing about indigenous peoples is that they're very connected to nature, like from them just knowing their way around um their area and just understanding how herbs work, how your immune system works, all of that. So that's one of the main reasons I painted her green. You know,
Hmm.
it plays into that. So whatever you're thinking with Mother Nature, that's still correct as well.
Okay.
There's no one. There's not really like one set um answer for like what the painting means. Like whatever you see, like that's a part of it.
And you know what? As artists, we do have those pieces that don't tell you right away what it is, and people
Yeah.
can have their own meaning, just like you said. And that's the beauty of art, to let people actually have their own mindset and have their own interpretation of what they see.
Hmm.
You know, um, what I wanted to ask you was, which is I think very important, and if you don't mind, would you mind speaking on how the Declaration
Oh, the
and
statutory declaration.
yeah, and
Oh,
if you want to introduce, because I saw you had Instagram, another Instagram with your name.
yes,
If you
yes. The
want to
other
do that
Instagram.
tonight, feel free to educate people on what your
Am I able
transformation
to
has
like? Am
been.
I able to pin that in here somehow?
I don't know how to do it. Like I tried to do that with my Cash App the other day. I didn't realize what I was wasting time, but
Okay.
I'll find out. But
You know what? I'm gonna write it.
yeah, and I'm gonna let
I'm
people
gonna
know
write the name of
to
it.
follow that page as well because I followed it
So they
earlier.
can follow it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but basically, the statutory declaration. So that is a part of this process that I've been going through with the indigenous nation called the Atsikata Nation of Yamasee Moors. And the statutory declaration basically is a document where I claim my birth certificate as being null and void and that it's chattel property, basically creating the corporate entity known as Jay Golden because, you know, your birth certificate, that document, once you go through that whole process in the hospital and they create a birth certificate, that actually creates you as a fictional entity. Your name is a fictional entity. It's in all caps. It's known as a straw man. So I actually claimed it as null and void. I go by Kwamina Kanadu, which is my appellation. Jay Golding still exists, but it only exists as property,
Mm.
as a fictional entity, a corporate entity. So I'm still going to use that for business purposes, especially for like my artwork and everything.
Yeah.
But basically, me, the living flesh and blood, Kwamina Kanadu, I control Jay Golding. I have ownership of Jay Golding. Jay Golding is my property. So
Mm.
that was just one step in this entire process. And I had to actually send that document to Phil Murphy, Governor Phil Murphy. I had to get a
Okay.
document notarized and all that. I actually have it here with me. I could read a piece of it.
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah.
Now listen, I want to put this out there. We have usually have our the way Instagram Live works, you have an hour. If it
Yeah.
cuts off, if you want to continue, I'm okay with it. If not, we know we have
And it
less
has
than
like a
20
cover
minutes.
letter. So like this is how like the cover
Mm.
letter of it looks. I had to send it by registered mail. That's what this is. The registered receipt stamped by the governor's office. That's actually the mailing receipt. This is the cover letter.
Mm.
And
So he's,
notice like how I signed my signature in blue.
mm.
Because blue actually represents maritime law, like law of the sea. Um,
uh,
and it's so like whenever you sign your name in like blue or like a dark ink, that's basically representing a dead entity, corporate entity.
mm-hmm.
Whenever you sign in red ink, that's representing a living being, a living flesh and
Wow.
blood being. Yeah, so like red means that you're alive.
That's what's so funny? It's so
Yeah,
wow. That's a whole nother topic. Even that alone, saying that they used to tell you not to write with red. That's wrong. Everything you like, if you
yeah,
look at a report card, the red would be the stuff that's negative. So you'll get used to not want to even use a red pen because you
yeah.
feel like
It's
it's
like
wrong.
yeah.
Don't do
It's
it.
like
It's
that's a part
like
of the pro. It's a part of the programming. It's a part of the program. That's why even with hold on a second. So this is an example. I'm
Uh, um,
showing
I'm sorry, because Joel
one of my prints.
Lopez asked you a question real quick. He
Okay,
said,
okay.
has your path changed the
Has
way
your
you
okay,
create
I see
art?
it. Has your new path changed the way you create art?
Mhm.
That's a good question. Yes, yes and no. Um, it's changed my art in the sense that now I can implement these tools. I can implement what I've learned and add it to the art. But at the same token, I feel like my art was already headed in this direction,
Mm.
especially from Omo. Like I feel like Omo was one of those projects that helped put me in this direction of really tapping into my indigenous lineage and just really seeking more answers and going down that road to find ways to like really become free
Mhm.
for lack of better terms. But I wanted to show this print just to show like this is like you see this my thumbprint is on here
Oh, okay. So,
in red. That was also something that people used to do way back. They would prick their thumb and then
yeah,
use
yeah,
their
yeah,
thumbprint that because that signifies that a living person wrote this, and you know that it's coming from that person who wrote the letter because that's their thumbprint. Everyone has a different set of thumbprints.
yeah,
So I started doing that with my prints where, I would sign like if you notice I have my signature right here, Jay Golding, but then
yeah.
underneath it I have my appellation in red to signify that, the living entity, the living flesh and blood, Kwame Kanadu, has precedence, has ownership over that. So I started incorporating into the art here and there. Like I'm still
Mhm.
figuring out ways to tweak it
Yeah.
and make it better. So
That's powerful, man. And people really do need to. I mean, I honestly want to find my path and do the same things that you did because I know it's a lot of within my history with my last name is Onque, and
yeah,
it's a definite path with the Onques, and I want to
yeah,
figure
yeah.
out that path and actually get the history. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. You
Do you
should
know where
know
that
this
comes
much about
from?
yourself. Not, I hear French, Haitian descent,
Mm,
around that. I'm not fully sure. My mother gives me, and also in like Native American base, all that mixed in somewhat. My
yeah,
mother was doing some history. I have to talk to her about it more and actually do my own history, but I don't fully know, and that's a problem. We should know.
yeah,
We should
yeah.
know.
Everyone
Yeah.
should know because everyone who looks like us, we're indigenous. Like,
Quick question, real quick. All right. Um, if you don't mind, can you talk quickly about Yendor Productions?
oh, okay. The Endor Productions, man. That wasn't like, listen, like I had this conversation with Malcolm. When was this? This was like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how 2017 was just like a great year in terms
Mm-hmm.
of me really finding my purpose more like or just let me rephrase really I guess taking those steps to walk in my purpose as an artist even more. Like a lot of great things happened that year. Solo, the Omo project happened that year,
Mm-hmm.
but that was also the year that I met Rodney Gilbert,
Yeah.
who, if any of you know in this chat, Rodney Gilbert was the founder of Yendor Productions. They um, basically facilitated a lot of the murals you see in Newark.
Mural
Um,
Mafia. He was the
yeah,
Mural
yeah,
Mafia.
the mural king.
Yeah.
But so it was the mural production side and then the theater production side of the company. And that was just like the day I met Rodney was actually the day that I was going to Philly with Yendor. They were
Mm-hmm.
curating an art show in Philly. And I had met Malcolm over the summer 2016. He did his first Blue House event. I'm not sure
Yo,
if yeah,
we're gonna have
yeah,
Malcolm up on here next. I'm putting
yeah.
that out
So
there. M. Dot
uh,
Roland. I'm putting that out
he
there.
he had the first Blue House, the Blue House art cookout was the first one was called, and that's kind of when I met Malcolm. I was introduced to Malcolm through Mitch, and you know, just fast forward the beginning of 2017, Yendor was putting together a show in Philly. So Malcolm texted me maybe 2 days, 2 or 3 days before we went to Philly, and asked me if I was busy for that week, and I said no, I don't really have anything going on. So he said, "Yo, you should come to Philly with us. We're curating the show. We're gonna be installing everything. So just just come with us." So I was like, "All right, cool." The day we're leaving, I went to the office. That's what we called it. That's where Rodney lived. We called it the office, and I just like my first I guess reaction after meeting Rodney was just like I don't know, it was just I knew I was gonna learn a lot from him. Like I knew I was gonna learn a lot, and that entire trip was just gems on top of gems. Like we actually stayed in an Airbnb
Mm-hmm.
that was also an art museum,
Mm.
um, art studio, ran by this amazing artist named James Dupree. And James Dupree, he mentored and taught a lot of artists that came out of Philadelphia who were like actually big no, well known artists. I think he also owns like another gallery down there in Philly. But anyway, Rodney didn't even know what to expect. Like Rodney
Mm-hmm.
just he just found this place while trying to figure out where we are gonna stay.
Wow.
And I think Philadelphia actually has James Dupree's place listed as one of the I think it's one of the 10. Is it one of the 10 or five? Maybe
Mm.
one of the five places, like the five must visit places in Philly. Um,
Wow.
so we stayed there, and he actually had like an entire other section that was cut off, where he would stay there whenever he wasn't home, and he would create his
Mm-hmm.
work in there, and he gave us an entire tour. But like every time we ran into him, we would have these hour conversations, like hour long conversations, sometimes 2 hours, and he would just drop a lot of gems on us. So that entire trip was just amazing. So I was like, that was a great way for me to start off that year. Like I was
Yeah.
on such a
Yeah.
high. That was actually before I went to Ethiopia.
Wow.
So that was before talking to Rebecca and getting Omo situated.
Hmm.
That was literally the beginning of January, and that entire, sadly, Rodney passed towards the
Yeah.
end of that year. But
Yeah.
that
Rest in
that
peace to Rodney
year,
Gilbert. Rest in
yes,
peace to Rodney
yes,
Gilbert. Very,
yes.
very powerful person. He gave me a chance. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go
He
ahead, go ahead.
allowed me to have my first mural really. Well, I'll say this. The city of Newark gave me a chance to do a mural. I
Uh
only
huh.
did half of this long wall. I wasn't really out there knew about it as well as I
Yeah.
should. So Rodney gave me the chance to actually bring it home. And it
Mhm.
was a totally different process where he provided paint and scaffolding and all this stuff and allowed me to actually make that into what it is. It's called Nubian Flavor. And the second half of it was called Lift My People Up. So you
Yeah.
see a man and a woman there. They got people resting on the hands being lifted up to the stars, basically. And I appreciate him for that. You know, I really do. It was important for me to finish that, and for him to give me that chance, I will never forget that.
Yeah.
And,
He like Rodney actually cared about the artist, and
mhm.
like what I really um loved about how Yendor worked is that like they made sure that, because especially like if you're an artist just getting into murals for the first time, it's easy for you to just kind of not even know how to budget the money that you're getting from the city
True,
and just kind of go through
true.
it. And yeah, so like that was very crucial for them to be able to make sure that you got paid as an artist, but also to make sure that you had a good budget to make sure that your supplies were already taken care of and that you were
Yeah,
still actually getting paid after
it
that.
was key. That was
Yeah.
key. I'm telling you, that was
Yeah.
key. Um, we don't have that much time. Are you willing to go a little further? Like, because they're
Yeah.
gonna probably cut this off 5 minutes from now. Within this 5 minutes, give me the word that you want to give me, and then I'm gonna start it over again.
Oh,
Cause
okay.
you know,
Okay.
what word would you want to give me? I can
Hmm.
restart that part.
Okay. I gotta give you. I gotta make it challenging.
All right,
Um.
just as long as you spell it out for me.
Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Damn. You know, I'm just gonna say clarity.
Clarity.
That's not really challenging, but I'm just gonna say clarity.
CLARITY.
RITY.
All right. So it looks backwards to you.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like I said, I don't like that. But we have 4 minutes before they will actually cut me off. But before that 4 minutes in, I'm going to try to go in a little bit to see if I can change what you have given me and make it art.
Yeah.
Because that's what we need to do. Create.
That's actually like a cool thing too. Like you should turn that into a series.
Oh, I'm already on it, brother. The
Yeah.
stuff that I've been doing, I'm going to make it a series, definitely. I'm going to start going back in.
Oh yeah, you're good. You froze for a little bit.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm back.
Yeah, you're good. I can see it.
All right, so I'm just letting you see how the process while I'm actually moving forward and doing more things with what I'm doing. Also, while we are waiting,
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to just touch base on some of the murals that you did.
Oh, well, I haven't done that much, but
Well, the one in particular that I really like
yeah.
is two of them, but one of them is the one with the building next to
Oh
280.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy because like I want to say within the past what is this 2020 now? So I want to say within the past 2 years, I've been yeah like that. I want to say within the past 2 years, I've been getting a lot of feedback on that mural. And what's
Mm-hmm.
funny is that me and Lenny actually did that one. Shout out to Lenny. Lenny's actually another um, Lenny's actually another instrumental person in me even doing murals. Like I before I linked up with Yendor, um, basically Lenny taught me how to paint murals. Like that entire not the entire year, but like I want to say from like spring throughout the fall of 2016. I worked with Lenny on the mural project on 21. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's interesting how that comes together. Like you're doing that quick too.
Well, that's what I'm trying to see if I can get it before the time run out. If I can,
Oh, are they actually showing the timer for you?
I know I did it. I clocked in at 8:30. I
Okay.
mean 7:30, and it's
Okay.
usually an hour. So I mean, just doing the math on that. I don't want
Yeah.
to get caught up in between talking. Uh,
But yeah, I mean,
you can look a little bit.
damn. I actually like the scale of it too. Like how that last one is just so much smaller compared to the other ones.
Yeah. No, I love doing this thing, man. It's
Oh,
inspiring.
another thing I want to say. Damn, I should have said it earlier.
Well, we're gonna come
But
back.
like,
I'm gonna come back. Give
okay.
at least an extra half an hour, if not, But this is what I got. You got clarity, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna for anybody watching. You want to come back? I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna go out and go back on live again.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Hey. This is your art host Suliman Onque, and I'm back. Waiting for some people to come in. So we had the artist Jay Golden. Hey, what's going on, Leslie family? Enques, I see you. How you doing? I'm waving at you, waiting for some people to come in the room. We just had a live with Jay Golden, the artist Jay Golden. dope artist. He was giving us some gems, letting us know about his life. And before he left, he gave me the word clarity, and this is what I came up with from the word clarity. And Leslie, while you here right now, I'm gonna give you a chance to give me a word. Give me a word. Give me a word. Give me a word. While you the one in here now, give me a word that you want me to change, and I'll hook you up real quick. What you want to say? What you want to say? You want to say Onques? Give me a word, and I'll change it around for you if you want. I hope you're doing good. You know, the family's doing good. All this crazy stuff going on. We don't like that. We hope that things get better. And positive. That's a great word. So I'm gonna write the word positive. All right. So this is the word positive right here. Positive. So positive. From positive, what would I think about when I think about some positive things?